Imagine creating something so powerful that it spreads across the globe in just weeks, yet you never intended for anyone else to see it. That's exactly what happened when the world's first computer virus was born, and the story behind it will absolutely blow your mind. What if I told you that the entire concept of computer viruses started not with criminal masterminds or government hackers, but with a curious 15-year-old who just wanted to play a harmless prank? And what if that same creation would eventually lead to billions of dollars in damages and completely revolutionize how we think about digital security? The year was 1982. Personal computers were still a novelty. The internet, as we know it, didn't exist, and most people had never even heard the term malware. In this primitive digital landscape, a Pakistani teenager named Basit Farooq Alvi was about to accidentally unleash something that would change computing forever. Here's where the story gets absolutely wild. Basit wasn't trying to create chaos or steal information. He was actually trying to protect his family's software business from piracy. Think about that irony for a second. The first computer virus was created to stop theft, but it ended up causing more digital mayhem than anyone could have imagined. The virus was called Brain, and it had a personality unlike anything we see today. Instead of silently infiltrating systems like modern malware, Brain actually introduced itself. When it infected a computer, it would display the creator's real names, phone numbers, and even their business address in Pakistan. Can you imagine malware today doing that? It would be like a burglar leaving their business card at the crime scene. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Brain wasn't designed to destroy data or crash systems. It was surprisingly polite for a piece of malicious code. The virus would simply replace the boot sector of floppy disks with its own code and then display a message essentially saying, "Hello, your disk has been infected, but don't worry, we're not here to cause harm." The psychological impact was enormous, though. Remember, this was an era when computers were mysterious machines that most people barely understood. Suddenly, their computers were talking back to them with messages from strangers halfway around the world. The fear and confusion spread faster than the virus itself. What's fascinating is how Brain actually behaved like a living organism. It had built-in intelligence that allowed it to avoid infecting the same disk twice. It could recognize its own presence and would skip over already infected systems. This biological approach to code replication was revolutionary and terrifying at the same time. The virus spread through the most common method of file transfer in those days, floppy disks. Every time someone shared a disk or borrowed software from a friend, they unknowingly became part of this global network of infection. Within months, Brain had reached every continent, traveling through universities, businesses, and home computers alike. The response from the tech community was pure panic mixed with fascination. Nobody had prepared for this scenario because nobody had imagined it was possible. Computer security was practically non-existent, and suddenly everyone realized how vulnerable their systems really were. Companies scrambled to understand how this thing worked and how to stop it. What makes Basit's story even more remarkable is what happened after Brain became famous. Instead of going into hiding, he embraced his accidental notoriety. People from around the world started calling the phone number embedded in the virus code, and Basit would actually answer and discuss his creation with curious researchers and angry victims alike. The long-term impact of Brain cannot be overstated. It spawned an entire industry dedicated to computer security, led to the development of antivirus software, and fundamentally changed how we design and protect digital systems. Every firewall, every security update, every piece of protective software you use today exists partly because of what this teenager created in Pakistan. But perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of this story is the philosophical question it raises about intention versus impact. Basit created Brain to protect intellectual property, yet it became the blueprint for countless malicious programs that would follow. He opened Pandora's box of digital mischief, but he did it with genuinely good intentions. The legacy of Brain extends far beyond cybersecurity. It represents humanity's first real confrontation with the idea that our digital creations could take on lives of their own, spreading and evolving beyond our control. It was our first taste of how quickly ideas could propagate in a connected world, decades before social media made viral content a household concept. Today, as we deal with sophisticated cyber attacks and complex malware, it's almost charming to look back at Brain's polite introduction and transparent creators. Modern viruses hide their origins in destructive purposes, but Brain wore its heart on its sleeve, created by someone who genuinely believed he was doing something helpful. So the next time your antivirus software updates or you see a security warning, remember that it all started with a curious teenager who just wanted to protect his family business and accidentally created one of the most influential pieces of code in computing history. Sometimes the biggest revolutions begin with the smallest, most innocent intentions.